On this Sabbath, we recognize the man and the legend by the name of Martin Luther King Jr. And it would be a shame for us to go without making some mention of what we have going on here in City Temple. And as I thought about his life and his legacy, I was reminded of these words of the great poet and orator Robert Frost, who said, "The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, miles to go before I sleep." And Robert Frost says that we have promises to keep and miles before we go to sleep, because if we sleep, then systems that have been set up to kill and destroy will continue to prevail. We have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep, because if we sleep, they will die. Who are the days? The days are those that have been misused and abused by public policies that don't call you 1/3 of a man, but will treat you like you are 1/3 of a man. They are those that have been victims of not just Jim Crow apartheid, but Jim Crow had children and cousins: Janice Crow, Joey Crow, Jason Crow, and even Jermaine Crow. I said Jermaine Crow because you know you got some of your own folk that will use their power to hold you back and to open the doors and to let somebody walk inside. Who are they? They are those that find themselves in a new age chattel slavery by the big business of prison cells in a country that locks up more black and brown people than any other fully developed country. They are those that have been victim to gun violence, not only in Chicago, but across these yet-to-be United States of America, and but also to the ones who are supported by the ones who are supported to protect the service. We have miles to go before we sleep, and so that's why I celebrate, appreciate, and commemorate the memory, legacy, and life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But Martin Luther King Jr. was a drum major for justice, a silver-tongued orator with a passion to see others receive their right to life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. He was born on January 15, 1929, but on the next Monday of every month, we salute his fervor and vigor. We salute the fact that as a young man who could not remain silent as he witnessed the deprivation and degradation of his people, he knew that he must take a stand. And although crime was high and looting and rioting was everywhere, Martin Luther so eloquently said, "A riot is a language of the unheard." And then in another instance, as he was being interviewed by Mike Douglas, as he was questioned about the crime in urban communities, Martin quoted from Victor Huber, where he says, "Where there is darkness, crimes will be committed. The guilty one is not merely he who commits the crime, but he who causes the darkness." You see, we cannot afford to be silent when it comes to those that cause the darkness. We cannot be silent when the government sponsors and celebrates bad cops who racially profile and harass its citizens every day. We cannot afford to be silent when Wall Street and big banks continue to practice their evil ways. We cannot be silent when we live in a world that you can measure the lifespan of someone simply based on their zip code. We cannot afford to be silent when you have people that hold on to services that you need but treat you like a credit card that has been maxed out. And so every time you try to get access, you are denied. Access to college, denied. Access to capital, denied. Access to health care, denied. Access to a home, denied. We cannot be silent when we must address the darkness that encapsulates the world that we live in. So if you're going to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Day and take the day off, you can't just celebrate the gene, you must celebrate the action. Because the last time I checked, nobody has ever been killed for just having dreams. I've never read or seen in the news that someone was murdered just for dreaming. But one of my favorite artists says you can live, you can be a dreamer, but just don't live inside your bed. In other words, you gotta wake up sometime and do something. And shamefully and sadly, we have frozen Dr. King's legacy to a single moment. Because next month, McDonald's and every nationally syndicated television network will play the words, "I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." And according to Michael Dyson, we have turned him into a rhetorical ventriloquist. We use him to speak words that he articulated without the meanings that he intended. And so that's why VH1 can run promos of Martin Luther King Jr. and then show Love and Hip Hop in New York, Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta, and his now canceled sorority girls. Maury Povich can mock and laugh at the plight of the urban family, whether it's black, white, or on a nationally syndicated television show early in the morning. Those shows don't profile or speak for everyone. They are microcosms of the real picture. But the real picture is that we live and we are awake. That there is an army of youth and young adults that will refuse to be dormant and docile
continue to turn. But we know that the arc of the universe bends towards justice, and I see it bending right now. I see the marches and the rallies, the blogs, the videos, and I hear the songs facing the rising sun of a new day begun. We shall march on till victory is won. I hear Isaiah the prophet proclaim in the midst of a turbulent and unstable situation that we shall arise and shine, for the light has come and the glory of the Lord is upon us. God has been and God will always be with us. For every Pharaoh there is a Moses, for every Goliath there is a David, for every furnace there is a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, for every lion there is a Daniel, for every Sanballat there is a Nehemiah, for every Herod there is a John the Baptist, for every Agrippa there is a Paul, and for every flood there is a standard, and for every system of oppression there is a City Temple SDA church, and for every devil, demon, and liar there is a Jesus Christ. Because we know at City Temple we are about to start the social justice curriculum and a literary center for all our young black and brown boys that they can learn to read. Yes, we cannot sleep and we will not be silent until the dream is fulfilled. We are dreamers, but we don't live in our beds, for we have miles to go before we sleep. Celebrate the dream, but celebrate the action as well. God bless you.